Hello and welcome to the Kentucky Coalition Against Domestic Violence Certification Training. My name is Mary Foley, and I have the privilege of serving as the Certification Committee Chairperson this year, which means that I have learned a lot about why training is important and why we're doing things a bit differently than we have in years past. For those of you new to this work, I think it's important to understand that this certification is required to meet the regulations that we hold with the state. The idea there is that advocates and program workers across the state would share a common body of knowledge because we understand that domestic violence has far-reaching and long-lasting effects. And so, over the years, the Kentucky Coalition Against Domestic Violence has worked diligently to try to equip and train those that are working with these courageous survivors. What we've come to realize, though, in the past few years, that perhaps we were doing a good job of giving you how-tos, but maybe we didn't fully understand trauma and its effect on those that experience it. So for the first time ever, the Kentucky Coalition Against Domestic Violence is launching a new certification process, and its emphasis is trauma-informed care. What in the world does that mean? Well, you're going to be learning about that as you go through these modules. And what our hope is for you throughout this training is that you understand how the effects of trauma inform the way you think, feel, and behave as you interact with survivors. What I want to caution you on as you begin today is not to come to the table expecting how-tos, how to do this work in a very concrete way, meaning we're not going to necessarily cover how to cover a crisis call, or how to help a survivor complete an emergency protective order, or how to complete an individual counseling session. Instead, what we hope to provide to you is a new way to frame, to think about the work that you do every day. The picture of domestic violence has been pretty clear for most of us, as I'm sure it is for you. But the frame that we put around that picture makes all the difference. Today, you're going to embark on a journey of not how to do this work, but instead a new way to think about how this work should be done. And here's the difference. When we approach survivors from a place of understanding trauma, what it is, how it affects their brain, how it affects the way they interact, how that is that it affects the way they interact relationally with others, including you, we can better meet them at the various intersections that they find themselves. So what I'd like to ask of you today is for you to put away old ways of thinking as best you can, for you to create space to be able to hear new information, and that you not get so focused on the specifics, but rather understand that this certification process is that frame for the picture of domestic violence. It is the framework for how we want you to take information and apply it to a multitude of scenarios that you encounter on a daily basis at your program. So today's energy isn't necessarily going to be in building new skills, but in building new thought processes, in building new understandings and new bridges to understand trauma in its most devastating forms. So mentally, we're going to be challenging you today at your very core. Most of the work is going to be in understanding trauma, its effects, its impacts, not only on the survivor, but on you, the one that provides care to the survivor. It's an exciting time to be a part of this work. It's an exciting time to be reshaped and retaught. So for those of you in the room that are very seasoned, you're going to learn something new throughout this process. And for those of you that are brand new, you're also going to learn something new throughout this process. And we hope that this certification plan meets everyone right where they are. We invite you to be honest with your feedback, and we invite you to help us develop this program into exactly what it needs to be. This is just the starting point. We welcome you to the training today, and we're excited to be able to put new ways of thinking and new ideas right before you to continue to do the great work you do every day.